Alright everybody, sorry I look kind of like a drowned rat today, but we just got caught in a torrential downpour. It was pretty epic. Right before that though, I had just finished zeroing this 300 Blackout gun. You guys have seen this one before. We've tested lots of suppressors with this particular rifle. And ever since I built the thing, I've been looking for a optic to complement it well. I was looking for something that didn't have a whole lot of magnification, but, you know, could give me some pretty precise shots out to 100 yards. Anybody who shoots 300 Blackout knows that the subsonics and the supersonics are just not comparable. And if you're shooting suppressed, you want to shoot the subsonics because they're super quiet. They're a really good time. But that said, inside of 200 yards, that's about all you get. Outside of that range, you're really looking at inconsistencies, and you know the subsonics just kind of fall out of the air. So I'm looking for something low power. This is the P223 from Nikon. It's fixed power 3 by 32, and I think it's going to fulfill that role well. We know that our Nikon optics are pretty robust, so this optic can also travel across multiple guns if I need it to. But I plan to have a home here on the 300 Blackout build because we do so much shooting with it. So that said, I'm going to go towel off a little bit, pull a suppressor out of the box, and we're going to go ahead and get shooting on this thing. So much fun. Alright, we're going to run down, see what the groups look like. Alright, we're down here at the 50-yard mark. And yeah, so I was aiming here to start out with, and I was shooting just a little bit high. So this is actually the first impact that we got. And then the second round went into the dirt, so I missed a little bit high. So we adjusted the group down. I was using this as my point of aim. And as you can see here, we got about a 1-inch group at 50 yards, which, you know, on a steel plate, you know, I'm not shooting for precision, you know, whatever. Totally capable, but I'm going to show you guys what the real cool thing about a low power scope like that is here in a second. So what I'm going to do now is show you why a low power scope like this is so versatile, especially for a caliber that's limited in range like subsonic 300 Blackout. First thing I'm going to do is something that I suggest that you never do, and that is take off your iPro when shooting. And the reason I'm going to be doing that, especially don't do that when you're shooting steel like I'm about to, is I want you guys to see that I'm going to do the second thing that I never do, which is shoot with one eye closed. I almost always shoot with both eyes open because it gives you a lot of depth perception and it keeps you from getting tunnel vision. Well, the only image that I'm going to be getting is the magnified image through the scope. I'm going to keep my other eye closed and watch what you can do with a low power optic with some field of view. So, what a low power scope allows you to do is get a larger field of view, and we're shooting at 50 yards here. So you got a much wider field of view when you're actually pushing out to 100, 150, 200, something like that. Just at 50 yards, I got enough to see those two targets, and they've got 15, 20 yards between them. What that allows us to do is not be searching around for the target a whole lot that you typically see with a lot of high power mag optics. So a little power optic like this gives you a wider field of view, allows you to keep track of multiple targets at once. Say if you're using it for kind of a tactical application like this, or if you're just out keeping track of what bucks are underneath of your tree stand. Nikon P223, thumbs up in that category for sure. Alright guys and gals, we're going to do functional accuracy with this 300 Blackout build, suppressed with the P223 from Nikon. Starting at 50 yards, we're going to hold center of mass, and then we're going to go out from there. Okay, 3 hits there. We'll go out to 100 yards. Okay, 3 hits there. Now we'll go out to 150. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and run down range, see where those groups landed, see what kind of groups we're getting out of the Nikon P223. I was using just the center of the duplex the entire time. Alright, so in all of these targets I was aiming at the center bolt. All the targets were the same, so we're talking the shootsteel.com static targets. Aiming at this center bolt, and this is the 50-yard target, we're looking at just a little bit high. These marks here indicate 5 inches, so the whole target is 20 inches in total height. We're talking, 2 to 3 inches high at 50 yards. Let's go ahead and run up to 100 and see what we did there. All right, down here at 100 yards, same deal, aiming at the bolt. I did pull one shot here. That was totally me. But what we're seeing is aiming with the center of the duplex, no ballistic adjustment whatsoever. We're talking about approximately 4 to 5 inches of drop out of a subsonic 300 Blackout round at 100 yards when we're 0 to 50. Let's go ahead and run over to the 150, figure out what we did there. All right, down here at 150 yards, we can see I had a little bit of trouble holding the rifle steady at that distance and keeping it on the plate, but the objective obviously was to aim here, and it looks as though we've gotten approximately 10 inches of drop at the maximum and 5 inches of drop at the minimum. So somewhere between 5 and 10 inches at 150 yards. After looking at 150, or after looking at the 100-yard target, I would say that we tend more towards this shot down here than we do up in here. But like I said, I was bouncing around a little bit. All right, going back to the last segment that we discussed about the Nikon P223. When you're using a low power scope like this, you have a much wider field of view. Even though all 3 of these targets were 100 yards apart from each other, and we started 50 yards away from the first one, we were able to keep track of all of them in this low power, high field of view scope. So that is the true advantage of using a lower power scope with something like 300 Blackout, where we have limited range, probably out to 200, 250 yards, something like that. So guys, again, thank you for joining us out here again today to take a look at the Nikon P223. Excellent offering from Nikon that is totally suitable for something like subsonic 300 Blackout shooting. When I walked into the NRA annual meeting, into the Nikon booth and saw this thing, I pointed it out immediately, and the people at Nikon can confirm this. I said, I need one of those right there, because I knew exactly what it was going to be used for. Just a dedicated 300 Blackout scope. The BDC on it is just perfect for subsonic 300 Blackout. Highly, highly suggested optic if you are doing a lot of subsonic 300 Blackout shooting, as we've shown here today. Well, that said, really quick, as far as the scope is concerned, it's a very simple scope. As with all the Nikon products, the zero adjustments are very, very easy. All you do is pull out on the ring cover and it'll disengage from the adjustment system. You can reset it to 0 so you can make all your adjustments from a 0 point. The adjustment system is a little bit more coarse. It is half MOA adjustments per click. We would like to see that get down to a quarter MOA, but when we're talking about shooting targets or game out to, you know, under 300 yards, you don't really need all that fine adjustment, and it helps them keep the price point down on something like this. As far as we can tell, this seems to be a relatively rugged scope. We are of course going to continue to beat the heck out of it as it rides on the 300 Blackout build that we have here. So be keeping tuned for updates on this particular optic as they happen. This thing is going into long-term testing with us. As always, thank you for subscribing to the VSO Gun Channel. We really appreciate you guys. You guys help us do what we do. And if you guys have any questions about this optic or any other optic for that matter that you guys want to see us put into long-term testing, be sure to leave a comment down below and we'll see if we can get to it. That said, we're going to go ahead and close this video outright and burn through the rest of this ammo.